Come on, Turkey, you can do better. Reports that Michael Jackson once appeared on stage and said, "Hello, Budapest," are unfounded. Hello YouTubers, we find ourselves just short of Ashchai. I'll show you where it is in Google Maps when we park up. But this looks very upmarket, it looks really nice. Turkey is celebrating 100 years of being a republic this weekend, and we've got this little island over here. There's a couple of park ups on it, so we're going over a little bridge at the moment, and it should take us to our park up, which will hopefully be on a beach somewhere. This looks fab. It looks like a nice little place. This is our park up for this evening, marred by one fact really, and it's this. Come on Turkey, you can do better. This is everywhere we go, all over here, and to be honest with you, we'll bag this up and get rid of it, but it won't stop other people. But hopefully if you're watching this and you're from Turkey, there's no need for this. This is just plastic and garbage. And it's a beautiful country you have. Look at it. Beautiful place to come and park. Look at the sun on that building over there. I'll show you in the morning when we're done. Took me 5 minutes. Good morning YouTube. You find us at the Temple of Artemis. One column standing, not a lot left of it to be honest with you, because it was built 1300 years before Christ, so 13th to the 14th century BC. But yeah, we're going to have a look around. So, the Temple of Artemis. I'd love to see some of these brought back to their former glory, rebuilt somewhere off site, so you can actually see what it was really like. Anybody want to buy a genuine fake watch? You've got to admire the honesty. So, Ephesus, as it's called, was first incorporated or built in 337 BC, so the 7th millennia. Just do a little pan for you. It's quite extensive around here, amphitheatre, other bits and pieces we'll show you. So this is basically what it looked like in its prime. So yeah, welcome to Ephesus, depending how you pronounce it. Heard so many pronunciations along the road this morning. This road was built 337 BC. That's like 2,300, 400 years ago. Alexander the Great walked this road. That's an interesting bit of history, isn't it? Alexander the Great, or as he was known by his enemies, Sandy the pain in the arse. So basically, being 2,500 years old, you go through a few iterations, you know, from different owners to different owners. When Alexander the Great died, someone else took over, and then after that it was burned down, and then obviously it just disappeared off the face of the earth. It wasn't until the 1870s that archaeologists found it and started excavating, but it was a bit of a disappointment because they couldn't find what they thought was here, so they stopped in about the 1880s, and it wasn't until 1905 that the British came back, had another go, found what they were looking for, and then the Austrians took over and they carried on excavating it right the way through to the 70s. I'm just looking at this and thinking, that was obviously the top of a building that some stonemason carved out 2,500–3,000 years ago. It's a bit trippy, isn't it? I think anything from Barratt Homes will be looked upon in years from the future. Here's a plastic window fascia that survived 3,000 years. These pathways are quite amazing. Some amount of work went into these stones. So this is the Fountain of Domitian. And basically in the niche stood a group of statues of Odysseus and Polyphemus' adventures. And basically it was just like a group photo in its day. So yeah, it was erected by the son in memory of his father in the 1st century. And yeah, it's amazing that they can actually work out what was actually here. So this is actually Domitian Temple, and it was built in honour of the Emperor Domitian, who years later he would be described as a tyrant to his people. They came back around and scrubbed his name off it everywhere they could, because he was a bad man after all. You don't get to be an emperor without doing a little bit of murdering along the way. So there you go, built in the 1st AD, and then the woke brigade got to him a little bit later and scrubbed his name off it. So this is a Memimus monument. That's what it should have looked like. That's what it looks like today. You're right when it's finished, I suppose. It's quite a large site, this, not without its photo opportunities. Just imagine people nipping down the shops 3,000 years ago. Go get yourself a cabbage to boil. It's actually translated. Says, if you believe anything this clown's telling you, you're as sharp as a marble. Donna's walking away down in front of us. I think she's looking for a Zara. She knows a high street when she sees one. Doesn't matter what age it is. So this is the Temple of Hadrian, from Hadrian in the Alps fame. The guy that took the elephants over the Alps. Quite impressive. A lot of it's still there. that I managed to knit back together.
This is good.
So this is a Library of Celsus, and again there's a lot of this town left after 3,000 years. Fantastic wee day out. We've been here about an hour. We've seen about, I think, a third of it. So there's lots to explore. So these are the terrace houses. And these are extra if you want to come and see them. Terrace houses, unlike Coronation Street, they were a little bit posher. And this is where the royalty or the higher ups lived. Ooh, that is quite posh, isn't it? You can imagine that. It would all have been extensively decorated. You can actually see something over there in that wall. Idea of the decor of the place. Glasgow Gable End. Yeah. Ronnie's just said this is incredible. I mean, basically, this is all built in the 3rd and 4th century. And yeah, it's still here. So there's still traces of decor here. It's fantastic. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, this is basically portraits and stuff of the people. A wee selfie on the wall. Family members, Auntie Augusta, who used to be Uncle Augusta. This is quite remarkable and worth paying the extra couple of £100, £3 or £4 to come and see, because this is the first time you get a real sort of feeling for life. Like anything that's 3,000 years old, they go through different iterations of what they are, you know. So they get knocked down, they became a graveyard, they get rebuilt again, and really most of this is from the 1st to 2nd century. So a good 2,000 years old, and an incredibly good nick. You can still see the marble floors, you can still see the mosaics on the floors, and the paintings on the walls. You can just imagine what they would have been like. Fab! Even back in the day they had graffiti. This is apparently somebody took it out of gladiators and other bits of pieces that were love poems, declarations of love. You've heard the expression, if these walls could talk. Well, these ones just don't shut up. This is the Library of Celsus. That's a warning if you return your books late. You'll have your hands in the city centre. The ceilings is phenomenal. This was all put back in 1978. Welcome to the amphitheatre. This place is enormous. The theatre reportedly held 25,000 people, and reports that Michael Jackson once appeared on stage and said, "Hello, Budapest," are unfounded. driving down this incredibly well-built Turkish road, as you can imagine, and there's this mountain range here, and it's just absolutely massive. It's just beautiful.